Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most bizarre characters in video games that you can unlock without DLC. Number 20, Fred Durst, Fight Club. Given that fight is in the name, it should come as no surprise that there was a Fight Club video game. What is surprising is one of the guest characters. If you complete story mode, you'll unlock Fred Durst, lead singer of Limp Bizkit. The inclusion of a new metal band's lead singer is pretty baffling, but there's likely an explanation. It's believed that Durst had a contract that stipulated that any games that license his band's music must also include him as a playable character. This would also explain his appearance in several WWE games. Durst's moves aren't any better or worse than most other fighters, but he does have plenty of experience at rollin'. Number 19, Snoop Dogg, True Crime Streets of LA.
Sorry, don't trip. Now beat it. Crime don't pay.
Now continuing the trend of musicians in gaming, Snoop Dogg is another surprisingly frequent guest in video games. One of his earliest appearances is in True Crime Streets of LA, an open world game that's basically GTA, but from the police side is an odd choice for the Snoopest of dogs, particularly given his own run-ins with the law.
Yeah, clink, bam, yeah. Shit, I could have done that with one hand tied behind my back.
Still, the rapper can be unlocked by either a cheat code or by collecting 30 dog bones found around LA. You can play as him in the Dog Patrol mission, where you have an hour to solve as many crimes as you can. If the crime is who smoked the most weed, we have a feeling he might be the most guilty though.
Ow! You'll be lucky if your mama can recognize you after I finish with you, hoe.
Number 18, Bill and Hillary Clinton, NBA Jam Tournament Edition. The 90s featured some wild sports titles before everything became all about realism, and NBA Jam was arguably the king. In addition to fun cheats like Big Head Mode, some codes allowed you to play as figures from the real world, including former US President Bill Clinton and then First Lady Hillary Clinton.
Oh! Clinton, he's on fire!
Pitting politicians against some of basketball's all-time greats and winning is downright wild. Who knew Bill and Hillary could dunk or sink shots from downtown? And why didn't any NBA franchise try recruiting them after they left the White House? I mean, come on now.
Clinton! Grab the rebound! Kaboom!
Number 17, Colonel Sanders, Phantasy Star Portable 2 Infinity. A sci-fi action RPG from Sega might seem the furthest thing away from Kentucky Fried Chicken, to most people at least. However, that's probably because most people aren't aware of how gigantic KFC is in Japan. The real-life founder of the restaurant chain can be found running a chicken joint in the game. After talking to him, the Colonel will give you a partner card that lets you summon him to fight in battle. Seeing a fast food spokesperson beating up monsters with a cane is absolutely surreal, but still finger-licking good. Number 16, David Hasselhoff, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Off his back, baby.
The Zombies mode of the Call of Duty games often features some strange guest characters, and one of the most bizarre happens to be David Hasselhoff. The Baywatch and Knight Rider star appears in the Zombies in Spaceland segment, where he assists the player in fighting zombies and gives hints to help you. However, after you complete the level, you can quickly enter a code in the lobby screen to play as Hasselhoff himself. It's something of a hassle, pardon the pun, but for fans of the Hoff, it's essentially in order to experience his gameplay.
The greatest from the greatest decade.
Number 15, Michael Jackson, Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2.
Michael Jackson!
You can't win. The title's mine.
Now, when you think of celebrities who could be boxers, the king of pop is probably one of the last people that springs to mind. Sure, yeah, Michael Jackson had fancy footwork, but the guy was not built like a fighter. Still, his dad was a boxer, so I guess it's not entirely crazy. To play as Jackson, you need to complete the arcade mode twice, or else enter a cheat code. It may be just a game, but fighting as Michael Jackson can certainly give you a thrill whenever you beat it, to the point where you don't want to stop till you get enough. Yeah, we had to do all that, come on.
Music to my ears. Who's the king?
Number 14, Shrek, Tony Hawk's Underground 2. Who knew swamps had their own skate parks? That's gotta be the only explanation for how this DreamWorks ogre grinds and kickflips so well, right? Well, either that or his movie tie-in game had the same developer as the Tony Hawk series. Even knowing the explanation, it doesn't change how weird it is to see Shrek in modern day, catching air and pulling off some cool tricks. To unlock the big green skater, you need to only beat the game on easy mode or enter a cheat code. Now, if only we could play as Donkey too. Number 13, Gone, Tekken 3.
Round 1, fight.
The Tekken series is no stranger to bizarre fighters. In fact, Gon isn't even the first dinosaur character in the franchise. Still, his miniature, cartoonish appearance is wildly different from the tone of the series, which makes him stick out like a sore thumb. You can unlock him as a fighter by beating him at the Tekken Ball minigame, or getting a high score in survival mode and putting in his name. Gon's short reach can be both a blessing and a curse. Computer characters struggle with this small size, but against other players, Gon is easily dealt with unless you know how to play him. Either way, some things end up whining extinct here.
You win.
Number 12, A Duck, Gunman Clive. This short but sweet futuristic western game sees you go up against bad guys as the titular Clive as he tries to rescue the mayor's daughter. And what kind of reward do you unlock for completing the game and enduring a gauntlet of platforming shooter gameplay?
A duck!
A duck, exactly. That's right, now you can play as a duck. You can't shoot back at enemies anymore. Instead, the gameplay switches to waddling and flopping past your foes and obstacles instead. And sure, yeah, it makes for a fun change of pace, but it's still an odd choice going from gunslinger to waterfowl. Number 11, Leon Kennedy, Claire Redfield, and a zombie cop, Trickin' Snowboarder.
Go!
By entering a certain series of button inputs on the title screen of this snowboard game, you can play as 3 different Resident Evil characters. I guess when your game is also developed by Capcom, these kinds of crossovers are possible. Still, the biggest question is why? Sure, Claire and Leon being pro snowboarders when they're not ridding Raccoon City of the Undead seems possible, maybe, I guess. But why is a zombie policeman shredding the gnar with the rest of them? As far as we know, the prize for winning isn't brains. But speaking of Resident Evil, Number 10, Tofu, Resident Evil 2. Picture this, okay? You finally completed all scenarios under 2.5 hours each, 6 times for each mission, flawlessly, and your reward? A playable block of tofu. In the self-parody minigame The Tofu Survivor, you must fight your way through zombies armed with only a knife to locate a helicopter in order to escape the ruined Raccoon City. As absurd as a playable block of tofu is, this mode makes for some interesting gameplay, as the tofu will change colors depending on health and condition. Hey, Capcom, how about putting this into the next Resident Evil installment? You'll have our money then, for sure. Number 9, T-800 Terminator, WWE 2K16. Pre-order me if you want to live. Traditionally, unlockables are included in-game and can be accessed through various methods, the most common being cheat codes or completing parts of the game. This one is stuck behind a paywall, still unlockable though, technically. If you pre-order WWE 2K16, you'll be given the ability to play as Arnie himself, posing as the Terminators from the original film and T2.
Nintendo does a great job of turning that around.
We know the former governor of California has been open about his appreciation of WWE and has even been placed in the WWE Hall of Fame. But come on, man, this never felt off to anyone? Nevertheless, at least we get to see Arnie take on John Cena. Cue the memes. Number 8, Mr. Game & Watch, Super Smash Bros. Melee. You fought to hell and back collecting trophies, defeating new challengers like Dr. Mario and Mewtwo, until you encounter the last challenger. It's a 2D silhouette of a stick figure? Okay, let's be honest, who didn't have a giant question mark above their heads when they unlocked Mr. Game & Watch? While he has become a mainstay in the Smash Bros. Series, sure, it was still odd to find this ancient mascot from Nintendo's old days of producing Game & Watch devices. In combat, he can fling food, drench his enemies in oil, or judge his own hammer strike to launch opponents. Since Melee, we've learned to accept and appreciate his presence, especially since we've seen weirder in recent titles. Pac-Man? Number 7, Spud of War, God of War, Chains of Olympus. Even the most serious and gritty of games can't take themselves seriously all the time, right? God of War is another franchise to add to that list. In God of War Chains of Olympus, beating the game on any difficulty will allow you to play through the game as the Spud of War. Basically, it's Kratos after he attended a bad Halloween party. Strange, yes, but it's hard not to laugh seeing a baked potato slaughtering enemy soldiers and beating the freaking crap out of Greek gods. We also have to give him a shout out to the other 2 costumes for Kratos, known as McKratos and the Mime of War. I don't know, that last one sounds a little contradictory for someone as loud as Kratos, right? Number 6, Spider-Man, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. This game is legendary for a number of reasons. It improved upon the original formula of the first Pro Skater game, boasted a create a skater option, and featured Spider-Man as a secret character. Yes, you heard that right. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is here to pull some sick tricks with you. Not exactly the type of game we thought the web slinging hero would appear in, but we guess it makes sense, right? If you wish to unlock the Marvel icon, it will require some patience and may prove to be difficult, as you will have to create a skater and complete the game 100% with said skater. Thought this was out of the ordinary? Pro Skater 3 had Doom Guy, Wolverine, and Darth Maul, so yeah. Number 5, Meatman Skate 3. Even though Skate 3 doesn't offer a diverse cast as the Pro Skater series, they still have a couple of characters that kinda seem out of place, like Isaac Clarke from Dead Space. While that one is certainly strange, we have to give it to the steak slab known as Meatman. In a world of regular humans, it's odd seeing a giant piece of meat roaming around and pulling cool tricks. Have we caught your interest? I hope so. Unlocking this character simply requires you complete all missions given by the Hall of Meat, a mode that rewards you with points by injuring yourself as severely as possible. Have fun breaking those bones and just try not to cringe. Number 4, Hornet, Fighters Megaix. Before Fighters Megaix, cars in fighting games had a purpose of either being part of a special move or to be smashed to pieces by the likes of Ryu in Street Fighter. But Fighters Megaix cranked the weirdness dial up from 4 to 100 by adding in Hornet from Daytona, USA. Just seeing screenshots of this makes us question reality. We have to give this sentient vehicle credit though, as it proves to be one of the more unique fighters in the game. Once its hood and armor are knocked off, its engines are exposed, and Hornet changes to a different fighting style. It even has a stage dedicated to the Daytona games, but still, I mean, what? Come on. Number 3, a toilet, Saints Row the Third. I mean, is it really any surprise from the Saints Row series? This is coming from a game that lets you beat up people with a dildo, so a playable toilet I guess is kind of expected here. Assuming you've already beaten this campaign, this single costume makes the entire game playable, making for an interesting Saturday night as a toilet. Witnessing a floating toilet with a flapping toilet seat is by far one of the craziest things in Saints Row the Third, which is saying something. Want to get even more wild here? Equip that certain sausage-like weapon we mentioned earlier. Just make sure there aren't any children around when you're playing this one.
Love to win.
Number 2, Pepsi Man, Fighting Vipers, the Japanese version. That's right, you can fight and play as one of the most absurd advertising mascots ever created. In comparison to our other selections on this list, he's probably one of the easier characters to unlock. Simply lose your first fight. Afterwards, you'll hear the internet famous theme song and will be challenged by the muscular Soda Man. Despite our love of Pepsi Man, it's still pretty darn weird seeing a soda mascot in a game filled with martial arts experts. But why else would they fill the game with Pepsi ads in the background? To foreshadow the appearance of the best character in the game, let's ponder over a nice can of Pepsi. Hashtag, of course, not sponsored.
Win!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Barney the Dinosaur, Xenophage Alien Bloodsport. He loves you, and you love him, I think, but sometimes that constant breaking into song makes us want to tear his heart out. Okay, sorry about the bad singing there. Thanks to Xenophage, that's a dream come true, though. If you fiddle with the game's configurations, the children's TV icon will be available to take your anger out on. That doesn't mean he won't fight back. If you somehow manage to lose, Xenophage will make sure you feel the shame. Seriously, how embarrassing is it to lose to a purple dinosaur that shoots bloody hearts of love? I mean, on the plus side, if you end up playing as Barney, he quickly becomes the most overpowered and broken character in the game. Unleash your love upon your enemies.
Victory!
So, is there a head scratcher of a secret game character that we forgot to mention? Get rolling down to the comments to share your favorites.